Love the headset.
Oh, you like those?
Yeah, I've been eyeing them for weeks at GameStop. Like, I wish I had the money for those.
Oh, they're only like $60.
Yeah, things are tight right now.
No,
I'm
I mean,
glad there's a
I
lull
get
in
you. I
gaming.
get you. Not everybody has $60 but I mean, some of the reason I said that wasn't to sound like a pompous jackass. The reason I said that was because we've got folks that spend $250, $300 on
Right.
headsets. I'm like, wow, these are pretty cheap come headset size.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about them. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. I got them with Best Buy Gamer Club reward coupon back when they launched, and I couldn't.
Mm.
I had to have them. Had to have them.
Yeah.
What's out on it? Anything was out on the box. You got to get
Yeah,
it.
every time I work GameStop, I'm always staring at it. I'm like, someday I'm gonna get that.
Trade some stuff in, man. Look at all that stuff you got behind you.
Oh, yeah. My wife would kill me.
All right, you ready to begin the show?
Hmm.
The Shack is back. Greetings, Kooplings. My name is Donnie Reese, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Nintendo Shack. Nintendo Shack 70, Pokemon Day 2019. Now, as we mentioned last week, Miss Caroline is off this week. My Nintensis is moving into her new bungalow. She's moving. Hopefully, it's better than a shack. That's what we're hoping. But have no fear, because I've brought friends with me. All the way over from Nintendo Nostalgia is Ryan, the Metroid Hunter. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm great, man. It is good to be on the show again. I love the shack. It's nice and cozy in here. So,
All right.
thanks for inviting
Nice.
me over.
You came at a. You mean we've had this in the works for a few weeks now, and I got to tell you, of all the people that selected dates, you picked a really good one. At the time when I
Yes.
DM'd you, I had no idea that today was Pokemon Day. Did you?
No. I started seeing posts later in the day about Pokemon Day. I didn't know that was coinciding with the big, direct and everything. I was just, I was like, oh, cool, they're gonna announce something on a direct. I had no idea it was something special Pokemon. So
Yeah,
I
I
should have
know.
known, but
Yeah, it's like I know Pokemon Day is every year. Like I get it, but like it's not on my calendar or anything. It's typically Nintendo Twitter lets me know. 3-4 days. I think maybe this year, like maybe a week, because we had the direct last week. There was a lot of people like, and next week's Pokemon Day. I bet they'll have something to say there. So yeah, man. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming back to the Shack. We appreciate it. I know Caroline appreciates you, and we've got a lot to break down, as you already alluded to. We did direct today, about 6 minutes. So not like, I don't know. We've done longer episodes for worse, but I don't think we're going to go 2 hours on today's direct. But we're going to break down today's Pokemon Direct. But before we do, we're going to talk about what we've been playing like we do every week. But before I do that, I must thank our wonderful Patreon producers. These are the folks that make PSVG go. And for those of you that didn't know, every month, all of our patrons are entered into the PSVG patron lottery. Tomorrow we draw. So if you had supported us up to this point at any level, you don't have to be a producer level, at any level, if you'd supported us up to this point, tomorrow we're going to pull a name out of a hat and you get your choice of an Xbox copy of Anthem, Yakuza 6 on PlayStation 4, or a gift card to any console of your choice. So that'll be going out tomorrow. So those are the things you can kind of get in on if you support us over on the Patreon at patreon.com/PSVG. Like these fine folks that go and support us at the Patreon producer level. So thank you, Coach Hulk. Thank you, Callow, Devin, Kevin, Chris, Kyle, and Josh. Thank you, Joel, a.k.a. Professor Switch. Thank you, Barry Cathcart, and Paul Calico. Without you guys, these shows, they don't happen, and they definitely don't happen at this quality. They don't happen at this regularity, at this consistency, and they definitely do not have their own podcast feeds. The OT's got its own feed. The Shack has its own feed. I mean, Bored with Video Games has their own feed. Like, that definitely doesn't happen. So, like, without these folks, none of that happens. We're just back on the old master feed where every show comes on one feed. Which I still like. I know I took a lot of heat for that for the first, 290 days of PSVG's existence, but I still follow the master feed. But I understand a lot of people have their favorite shows, and without them, we wouldn't have it. So thank you guys for supporting the show. Okay, Ryan, as we kick off Shack every week, what have you been playing?
I've been getting down and dirty with the Final Fantasy IX.
Oh, not you too. So first we've Jake come over here and start talking about forever old game, and now you come over and start talking about okay.
There's a reason. The NOS crew, like, all dove in on this one, and we're playing through it. It's my first time playing it. I am a fan of Final Fantasy VIII the most, so. But 9, I enjoyed it. I did beat it. I kind of powered through it, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't my baby 8, but I love what we have. I love what they did with this game. I didn't get too attached to the characters, but enough to make me cry at the end. So I was definitely involved in some emotional capacity.
Nice. Wow. I can count on less than one hand the amount of games that have ever brought me anywhere close to being teary-eyed. That's a rare feat. So that's awesome, man. Any reason in particular? Is it just the story, or is it the characters?
Just the happiness at the end. Like there's I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, especially with people playing it right now. But it's got a good ending. It's very sad, but there's happiness too amidst the sadness. I think that's what gets me the most.
Tears of joy, huh?
Yep.
So I asked Jacob the same thing, and I'll ask you, how do you think it holds up? Because the reason that I asked that is when these were announced, I made several mentions. The last thing that I want to do is play some old PlayStation 1 games from a series I don't like. Now, I'm not saying I don't play old games. You give me some Hot Shots, I'm going to play me some Hot Shots. I'll play Clock Tower. Like, there are things that I like, but I've never really been into the Final Fantasy stuff. And the idea of getting those old RPGs with those menus and those, inventory management systems, all that, like, it's just, it's not for me.
Learning the mechanics, like, Xenoblade is, like, probably the ultimate in complicated menus that I've known. But it's there's some things you can miss. Like, we've been playing for weeks, and Jacob only just found out about abilities. We've told him about it, but he didn't know anything about how to equip abilities or anything.
That does sound very Xenoblade-esque. I can imagine a lot of people playing Xenoblade for a long time without knowing anything about Infinity Shard. That sounds about right.
But they made it extremely accessible with the grinding and everything. Like, you can put it on fast forward and run through to places. You can turn off battles. You can have battles do, like, maximum damage, so you can grind really fast. Like, if you want to enjoy the story, they've made this completely accessible to you. Like, if you hate RPGs, like, this will expedite it so much, and you'll actually get to experience that story. Whereas if you hated grinding, like, it wouldn't have been accessible to you in the past. They've made it a lot better for RPGs being able to do that.
Yeah, I was asking Jacob. I think these are ports of the mobile versions. They've got all that speed up stuff where you can bypass like random encounters and just kind of quickly get through the game, which is really neat. I appreciate that.
Definitely a welcome addition to these older style RPGs. It's definitely needed for today's day and age.
Yeah, I think so. And because of the Switch as a tablet, I know here in the Shack we've talked almost ad nauseum is how many mobile ports we either expect to be coming or have already came to the console. But in this regard, there are a lot of mobile ports of really good games, old games that they've brought to mobile, that they've redone. Like the Grand Theft Auto series comes to mind. I would welcome all of those things on Switch. So it's really cool that you found a gem. How much did you pay for Final Fantasy IX?
I think it was like $21 or some change.
That's not bad. So. And full recommended. Recommended by Ryan. You got the NOS recommendation.
Great story. I liked it better than 7, which I'm gonna get to experience that again. So hopefully that'll
You're gonna play Final Fantasy. You're gonna play them all.
Hopefully. I mean, it's not 8, so I mean, like I said, I can't say how much I love 8 enough, but that was my first one. So.
Okay. Well, I've started playing. I played the Toad DLC. That came out. I bought that. It's $5, and I played the first level. You only get the first level, so I do like that they have it separated from the main game. So you get an update to the game, and now you boot up the game, and there's a little separate tunnel that comes in. And it's like these are the extra challenges, and I did play it co-op, which is a little weird because everybody has their own mouse cursor. So if you use the motion controls, like there's these little circles that are kind of like moving. My daughter like spazzed the screen with her, so I was like, that's a little weird. And then also, like. Just having, I don't know, it feels like with co-op, you play the game a little bit more aggressively and a little faster pace because like both people are kind of, I don't know, fighting for it is not saying the right word, but you have two people on this little map with the same kind of goal. You're both kind of running towards the ladder, so like you both kind of get in each other's way, plus the enemies. It was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. I'm not sure if it's my favorite way to play the game, but I'm glad that I bought it, and it was a neat first level, which I enjoyed. Finding all the posters and doing all that was really good. So I'm looking forward to the DLC that drops this month because we've got a little bit here until Yoshi comes, and then we got a little bit after Yoshi until Box Boy comes. So kind of like last year, I feel like I might be hitting a lull here with my Nintendo Switch, because I got to admit, I've been playing so much Anthem and things on my Xbox. I have not been playing my Switch nearly as much, and the reason being is I've kind of played a lot of things. Like I'm not really in the mood to play many things right now over there. So much, in fact, that I actually started playing Fire Emblem Fates again. Because I got a new 3DS, which is, I was telling this story to Caroline. We were off air last week because it was kind of new. I went to play disc golf last week. We got outside and it rained here in Georgia for 12 straight days. Like the first day the sun came up, I just wanted to go outside, do anything with sunshine. So I went and played some disc golf with my friend, my best friend, and his roommate. And his roommate was talking about Pokemon and how he bought a 3DS for Pokemon and how he liked Pokemon and all that. But how he never plays anymore. He played Sun and Moon, and that was it. And he never played it again. And he started talking about how, they've got an Xbox. They're playing Apex Legends and all these Battle Royale games with Fortnite. So I told him that, I was like, yeah, I've got the Call of Duty game, that it's got a blackout. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I've read reviews and checked out YouTube videos of that. And I was like, yeah, I bought it and I played it a bit, but, it's not really doing it for me. I'm not really digging it. And he goes, well, would you trade it? And I was like, yeah, what do you want? He was like, I'll give you my 3DS for it. So I traded a copy of Call of Duty Black Ops for a 3DS, which I thought was a sweet deal. Sure, here's a game for a system. It's really nice too. It's got the Blastoise plates. He got the new Nintendo 3DS with the Pokemon plates. Those Pokemon plates are worth way more than either one of those two things. They're worth more than the system and they're worth more than the game. Yeah. And I told him that too. I was like, you can sell these. He's like, I don't care. So I came home and I tortured my son with those. Nice. Yeah. Yes. Oh, you perked my interest, because I put Fire Emblem plates on mine because I was playing the game, very obviously. Nice. But then these are the plates that they came with. So, awesome. And my son is a huge Blastoise fan. That is his thing. So, yeah. So I promptly came home and tortured him about it for a day and a half. And then, I started playing it, and I realized, this is getting back to my main point, what I was telling Caroline that I really enjoyed, is I really enjoyed the 3D effect. When it's funny to say because it is kind of like a gimmick, but I've often said this, and I believe it's true. When you put them side by side, games with the 3D effect on, they're brighter. They just have a little pop, the 3D effect just brightens the game a little bit. It's just a nice, little pop of color, of brightness. Everything gets a little more rounded. I'm not sure why, but I'm not sure if you've ever done this. Maybe this makes me sound like a crazy person. I've sat there with the console really close to my eyes and just toggled it on, not even all the way on, just toggled it on and toggle it off. And I've seen it, it looks better this way. So anyway, having played with the 3D vision on, I was like, man, I really like having this instead of my 2DS. So I sold my 2DS and I moved everything to this one. And this one is just the thing that I have. So like I do with all of my things, I just keep moving them around as the impulse drives me. So I'm back to the new Nintendo 3DS, and I used some money to buy me some plates and just some games, just gift cards and stuff. I just kind of re-put it back into stuff. And but yeah, I was happy that I had back. So I started playing Fire Emblem, and I never did Birthright. I played Conquest all the way through because female Corrin, because that's where she is. She's on the box. She's on the cart. That was her, that's where she lies. So I picked that pass. So, I've been feeling the urge, this impulse to buy Fire Emblem, the special edition, Fates, the special edition, which cart is going crazy right now. It's $300. It's insane.
Yeah, we had one come into GameStop the other day, and it was just wow, that's.
Can you sell it to me? Can you hold it? Because I've been wanting to buy one forever, but I refuse to pay that much. If I had a GameStop that would sell it to me, I would buy it in a heartbeat. But I cannot.
It lasts a day.
Yeah, I'm not paying $200 for a 3DS game, but I would pay $80 for it. I would, because I want it so bad. But anyway, so I just bought the digital pass, which was $20, and I just started playing Birthright and having a blast. I'm through chapter 10. Birthright's easier. It feels easier. And I feel like maybe that's another reason why I didn't pick it in the past. I think maybe I read that somewhere that it's easier, but it just seems to be route the enemy. It's just kind of win. Everything's win. You're not controlling multiple points or, win while saving these other two people or anything like that. It's just kind of beat the other people, which is kind of nice. because I'm like, this is my second playthrough, right? So I'm kind of just wanting to go through the motions. I'm just wanting to experience the story again. You know, I'm not wanting to dive down and get all tactical with it right now. It's old game, but it's been enjoyable. And the reason I've been playing it, I should have prefaced this. The reason I've been playing it, Jack has the flu, so my son has influenza type A. Tested for type A flu. And the poor little guy. We went to see Metric this past weekend, man. I was at a concert. Me and the wife, we had a blast. Went to a hotel room. Got a call at 3 a.m. from our babysitter, who's Jack's running 102 fever. So we had to leave. I had been out partying and rocking and having adult beverages, and I had to like leave the hotel in the middle of the night. So my wife's driving us to get our son. It was an absolute mess, like as tired as could be. So yeah, I guess in the South, you know, bless his heart is the right term. Poor little guy was just burning up, not feeling well. So I've actually been home all week taking care of him. So I had to call in sick and take the time off to get him to the doctor, get him checked out, and then stay here while my wife went to work. So I've been sitting here playing Fire Emblem. Like when I'm not playing Anthem, I'm sitting around on the couch, you know, sitting around with him, and I'm playing Fire Emblem on my new 3DS, and I'm enjoying it. So that's what I've been doing on Nintendo this week. Okay. So let's move into our news block, and let's break down today's Pokemon Direct. Now, for those of you who have no idea what Pokemon Day is, Pokemon Day, February 27th, 1996, marks the day 23 years ago that Nintendo released Pokemon in Japan. Can you believe it's been 23 years we've been playing these games?
That's just crazy.
That makes me feel real old. 23 years ago. Pokemon Red and Blue. Wow. But today they took to the Direct in 6 minutes and they announced the new game, Pokemon Shield and Pokemon Sword, coming to Nintendo Switch this fall. The games take place in the Galar region and features distinguished environments like the countryside, the city, mountains, mines, caves, all that good stuff. They showed off a bunch of art, which we'll talk about, and then they announced the 3 brand new starter Pokemon that we get for Gen 8. So we get Grookey, a grass-type chimp Pokemon, Scorbunny, a fire-type rabbit Pokemon, and is it Sobble? Sobble, a water-type lizard Pokemon. All right, so the first thing I want to say is I'm glad they didn't do a tutorial on how to catch a Pokemon, because that's what they did with Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like they spent 15 minutes talking about how to catch a Pokemon. But they got in and out. They showed a trailer for the game. They showed this real, I would call it weird, like real life trailer with the Pokemon. Like where they were just cartoon animations, which I don't feel like, I would have much rather seen them in game. I just put it that way. Like I thought the in-game footage looked much better. But before we break all this down, I mean, what did you think about the overall Direct period?
I think it did what it needed to do. It just got us hyped a little bit for what's coming. It didn't give us too much information. We don't know any mechanics. We don't know if we can turn on the feature to catch Pokemon and see Pokemon walking through the grass instead of the wild encounters, or like they haven't talked about anything mechanic-wise, but they just wanted to show you, hey, there's something new out there. It looks great. It's on Switch, and here's 3 new starters to think about.
Yeah.
Just enough to get the hype going.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. That's all they did. I feel like we should start with the graphics, because that's really what was on display for this. The first thing was on display was the graphics. They showed off the new settings. They showed off the new, I would call them like new perspective, new vantage points, the new Pokemon, everything. My main takeaway is this game appears at first glance, from our first impression, this game appears like what a console version of Pokemon should be. Does it look revolutionary or groundbreaking, or does it change the way we think about Pokemon at a style level? No, it doesn't. It looks like an HD version, a step up from Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is what I was expecting. So I'm not that let down about this. However, there are plenty of people that are, and we've got a question. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But stylistically, what did you think about it? And we should mention that Galar, like this region, is very English. It's very UK. Like the whole island looks like the UK. The industrial city, kind of has this Industrial Revolution vibe. A lot of people are calling it steampunk. I wouldn't go that far. I didn't see any like punk version of steampunk. Industrial is a nice way of putting it, but everything is like beautiful countryside, like rolling grass, farms. The press releaser, by the way, the press release made mention of the industrial thing multiple times. Made me wonder if like maybe we're gonna have like some job mini games or something. Like, are you gonna do some farming and do some factory things or anything with your Pokemon, or maybe like any puzzle elements? Because they seem to keep mentioning that that's a thing, and I'm wondering if that might play into the overall story. But I really like the watercolor, paintery type style that they're going for. If you take one specific scene and you analyze it, the textures aren't detailed. This is not 2019 modern big video game, but when you see it in motion, it's absolutely beautiful. It's colorful. It works. It is Pokemon. What did you think about the graphics?
I thought it was very pretty. Not top of the line, like you said, but still beautiful. I think the thing that captured me the most was like showing the trainer walking into the stadium with all the lights in the stadium, and like that giving that really bombastic, like almost Pokemon Stadium feel to it. And I'm like, if I can have that Pokemon Stadium experience on the Switch and still playing a regular Pokemon game, I'll be pretty happy about it. I mean, I don't necessarily need open world as long as I can get that Pokemon Stadium feel and still be playing a Pokemon game, Pokemon story game, actual mainline game.
We had some discussion about the open world the open world nature of this trailer, because they showed some environments, they showed the map, and we actually had several folks in our Discord talking that they got the impression that it was an open world. I didn't, but I think that's my years of playing Pokemon. I definitely saw paths, and I definitely saw gates. What I think we saw were, like Sun and Moon, big areas that you could explore, but I really feel like, you tell me if you think this is incorrect, but a lot of the camera angles that they showed in this trailer, like it doesn't look like we have the ability to control the camera, but it seems closer to the player. You're more zoomed into the character model, and it's kind of down. It's not quite over the shoulder, but it's more in that than the traditional top-down Pokemon angle, which I think makes those areas that we've come to see, you're kind of seeing them in line versus, from like a bird's eye look. I think that's going a long way to make them look a little bit bigger.
It does start to give that feel like it's almost about to transition to a different type of game.
Kind of.
It's still Pokemon, but it almost feels like you're running through a third-person game that's different in that world. I do like that. I feel like we're on the edge of something big as Pokemon is evolving on the Switch, but this is the next stepping stone, and it may not be what some people want it to be, but I'm really glad that we have this coming. New gen. A lot more Pokemon to catch. I still have to catch them all. That's my big thing when I play Pokemon games. I have that every single one.
You're in that Karo.
I'm the collector.
Nice. Speaking of Karo, who is all caps in our chat, she wants to make sure that I correct that it's Painterly, not Paintery, and she's hijacking our notes. She's live typing. So while we tried to give her the week off, she apparently can't take it. She's just here anyway, inserting her ideas into the show. She says that for her, she feels like the style reminds her of a Harvest Moon game. I had mentioned if anybody's seen the screens of the Yokai Watch 4 that's coming to Switch, it looks a lot like that too. Like they're very similar in style. It looks really good. You mentioned mechanics. We saw a lot of things that if you played Let's Go are different. It doesn't look like any of the Let's Go stuff is coming over. Random encounters are back. You're not seeing anything in the open world or in the map. You're not seeing the Pokemon run around. I will say that do you think that it's going to make the game feel like deserted or empty?
I don't know. I mean, they went into this saying they were going to be doing a classic, traditional like Pokemon experience. So there's no surprises there. I kind of held out hope that all the people saying, "Oh, we love this new style," that they'd give a feature where you could do both. And I'm still not ruling that out. Just toggle it on and off depending on how you want to do it, and play how you like to play. But we'll see if that happens. But I'm glad that just the traditional battling and stuff and weakening a Pokemon is there. It's the grinding stuff that I can enjoy from time to time. Like I spend hours just playing right before I went to bed and stay up way too late. Yep.
Yeah, it's comfort food. Yep. It's good old-fashioned comfort food. I was thinking that because one of the things I really enjoyed about Let's Go in terms of the mechanic, I realized that the mechanic was built because you level up by catching Pokemon, but by seeing them on the map, it really made the world feel alive. things were moving constantly. There were things to dodge and things to account for versus you just running through like an empty Safari zone. And I don't anticipate that to be the case, but it'll be on Nintendo to show us a little bit, to show us more NPCs. And not just trainer NPCs either, and not just like mindless say the same thing over and over NPCs. I'd like to see NPCs that move and not stand there. I'd like to see them move around. And I'd also like to see NPCs that give away some story and maybe give you some side questy-ish things, kind of like something like that. That would be really welcomed. If we're thinking like new gen, they made a mention in the trailer that they're trying to take new ideas and do things differently, and that'd be one of the things that if we're going to do a traditional Pokemon game on console, big, brighter new visuals, that'd be one thing that I think could really kind of, just mix it up a little bit, provide a little bit more to do. So we've got that. We get our battle mechanics come back. We're going to play the same old Pokemon game that we know and love. So Troy asks, I'm a bit let down from today's announcements. Will Pokemon ever evolve from the same game I've been playing since the 90s? Caro says no, deal with it. It's amazing. Ryan, would you like to add your own comments to?
I like the old formula. I like that we were able to... I don't like going slow. Like, I don't want to be back in first gen where I'm walking everywhere. I want to be able to run fast and get places faster. But I like the old formula. I haven't played enough of Let's Go. It's kind of a backlog game for me right now. I haven't even beaten Brock yet. I was just trying to figure out the shiny hunting thing. And I just found a random field, and I was just kind of working on that. And then I had other games distract me around Christmas time. So
that's a lot of fun.
But I've watched a lot of videos and just really enjoyed what I've seen. Even though I don't have the experience of Let's Go, like really, it's a different animal. Let's Go is a different series in how it controls and how it feels. And I think that they're delivering on the promise of this game being classic, and that's something that I wouldn't expect them to take out or change. But going forward, I would expect both, or at least one or the other. And have two separate branches. I don't know, but
Caro and I were hoping actually when we played Let's Go, and I guess we reviewed it or spoilcast or whatever, whenever we covered it on Shack, whatever we do here, we talked about how we hoped Let's Go was the every other year thing. We had Pokemon Mainline, Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Mainline, and Pokemon Let's Go. And it doesn't need to be a remake, but just a new story in Pokemon Let's Go. I think it'd be really cool. To answer Troy, I largely agree with you guys. I agree with you and Caroline. I think it's worth mentioning that, it's been 23 years they've been making these games. They sell us 2 copies of the games to most people. So it seems like they kind of know what they're doing, and they're doing it well. They constantly sell a lot. So there's a big market for them. I will say that I understand the sentiment. It's often a term that I bring up on podcasts over time here at PSVG is I feel like sometimes people age out of Nintendo. You just become too much of an adult. And I feel like this might be, in that where you see all these people, they want this big, giant open world Pokemon. They want this mature Pokemon. What they're really saying, I think the root of what they're trying to say is that they want a Pokemon that still resonates with them. And I feel like what they have to remember is that Pokemon is a game that specifically resonates with children. And it's really not for 30-year-old man babies that want to, remember what it was like to be 10 again. Like, they're not going to do that. The thing that makes Pokemon special is that it is a game for everyone, and that there are shiny elements and things that keep the seasoned trainer still playing while still being open and accessible to a brand new player. And if they ever go away from that, I think that'd be a huge mistake from the game completely. That'd be a huge mistake. Even changing something as small as, the Let's Go mechanic, I was worried might be too much for young players, but they did it simply, and it needs to be simple. Pokemon needs to be simple. We don't need complex Pokemon. I understand, you grew up video games, you played a shooter, you played GoldenEye, now you play Gears. Well, not everything has to follow that. Not everything has to be open world, and not everything has to be, bigger, grander, more explosions, more mature. Not everything has to go on that path. Some things can just be. And I think Pokemon is a company or a game franchise that should just be left alone. It does what it does well. And they like other Nintendo franchises, they make the graphics better. They implement a new gimmick. You do Z battles, do motion controls. Here's a Pokeball. They do things like that. but largely it's the same game.
Now, because of this, that means it's a single player experience, most likely. I mean, aside from battling,
Yeah, I don't know.
it's not going to have that co-op like that you had from Let's Go. So that's a little sad.
I'd love to see it play co-op. I think it might. I mean, they didn't. So they didn't mention anything about how this game plays.
Yeah.
They did say that they're working on new things. They said they're working on new Pokemon things in 2019, which I think is exciting. I'd love like a Pokemon Rumble or something. I don't know, whatever they come up with, a shuffle, some more things like that. I think those things are cool. But we didn't see anything about gameplay. I presume the Pokeball will work with it. You'll be able to play this game with the Pokeball. I believe they're not going to just throw that accessory away. It's going to have some sort of Pokemon Go integration. You're going to be able to transfer Pokemon back and forth. They may
Pokemon Bank is my big one.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Caroline and I have been talking about Pokemon Bank for a very long time. I think Pokemon Bank will come back. I do. Mm-hmm. But I've often said this kind of as like just somebody to stir the pot with Caro, just get her a little off edge. What if they turn Pokemon Go into Pokemon Bank? Like, what if they use that as the Pokemon Bank? I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's an insane idea. Like if they keep letting you transfer Pokemon from the game to the mobile app, if they let you transfer back and forth, it very well could be a replacement for Pokemon Bank. Or they could release a Pokemon Go like update. Or they do a Pokemon Bank proper app that you actually just use on your phone.
I think that is the natural evolution of where that would go. Instead of being tied to a system. Now, if it's tied to your Nintendo account, your My Nintendo, and they're always your Pokemon, that's pretty cool to never lose those as long as you have your account.
Yeah, and they could use the exact same functionality that they already have. They already have it in place with Let's Go. Maybe they let you do like My Rewards. Maybe you get some points or something, or every, for 100 or 1,000 platinum points, you get a Charizard. Like, there's things you could do here, and they could sell it, what do we pay for Pokemon Bank? Like $5 a year?
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And I don't see them rolling that into the Nintendo, giving it
Switch
free
Online.
with Switch Online. I don't see them doing that. I think they're a separate company from that, so they want to have their own revenue stream. So that's $5 is probably going to stay.
Yeah. And I think Pokemon players, I would pay for that. Especially, let's take it one step further. What if you could do some sort of little touch trainer mini game inside of Pokemon Bank to level up your Pokemon? Maybe you could pet them or give them hats or do some sort of tap battle. You could do that and take your Pokemon with you on your phone and then you go put them in your game. Tell me people wouldn't pay $5 for that.
I'm totally getting flashbacks. The little Pikachu,
Tamagotchi. Exactly. The exact same idea. You carry your Pokemon with you. They put an ad out there every year for the new Pokemon game. This makes sense. So we'll see. We haven't heard anything about it. I'm sure we will. I mean, I don't want to say I don't think because, Lord, that's bit me in the butt here. I don't think this game will launch without us knowing what the solution to Pokemon Bank is. There will be a solution, I think, by then. I think there will be. So let's talk about these starters. We crossed over them. So we've got Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. One of the things, going back to Troy's question, will it ever be the same game from the beginning? I will say, they don't always have to start with the grass, fire, water type. They could mix it up a little bit. I get that they do this all the time. It is iconic. I don't mind it, but it would have been interesting to start with lesser known, maybe a poison, a ghost, and a steel type, or a dragon type, or something. Mix it up a little. I'm not sure why they always do this. I think it's just kind of the way they do things.
I think it's kind of maybe the rock, paper, scissors of the three types, and there may be types out there that do that same trifecta, but and it's just what they've always done. Tradition. That's very Japanese.
So what do you think about the three, just in general? What do you think about the starters?
I like them. At first, they weren't too. They didn't grab me too much.
I hear a lot of people say that, and I was actually trying to bait you. I wasn't baiting you into saying that because I saw a lot of people say that today. And one of the things, not saying this is your opinion, but one of the things that I heard today was these three are not like Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur. And to which I wanted to reply back to you well, yeah, they don't have a cartoon yet. You haven't adapted to them like Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. Yeah, we just saw them for the first time. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but continue.
Oh, that's good. I think part of that was, like you said, the art style that they used for that. They used basically what they the 3D generator they use for the Pokemon cards, and that the art they use from those 3D models. And you can see those in the commercials for the Pokemon TCG. And they use that same idea. And I think if they would have shown like in game, I like seeing the 2D models better. I got a better feel for them than I did with the 3D models, which is odd to say, as we're going into this 3D Pokemon world as we've gone in with Moon and Sun and what have you. But I really do think that they did a good job here. I want to see how they evolve. Definitely, like who doesn't want to see how they progress? We were talking about like Grookey. We thought, well, he kind of gives he has that stick in his hair, so he kind of gives me that. Like, what if he becomes like a Monkey King slash Goku style like grass fighting character or something?
It's pretty good.
Instead of a cloud, it's a bush that he rides around on or something.
I can definitely see Scorbunny being a fire fighting type. Like with the legs, the thumper, like the whole idea. I could see that being a thing.
And that does bring me to an interesting thought. I see almost stat types in these characters. I feel like the fire Pokemon seems more speed build, like that kind of idea, that build. And like, the water starter is more stealth, like evasion type. And then I think the monkey's more power type. And from that idea, like, sword and shield, like defense and offense.
Sure. Like
that kind of idea, like that may have been something that they were kind of leaning towards. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's kind of a thought I had.
Who's going to be your starter? Not seen with your ability to change your mind when you see how they evolve.
Right. The one that first grabbed me was Scorbunny. I don't know. I was thrilled to see a fire bunny.
My man.
I like that the fire comes from the feet, and you saw like the singeing in the grass.
Yeah,
I like that. The kicks are awesome.
Yeah, I'm on the Scorbunny squad as well. That looked dope. So, my son is on Team Sobble. He likes the water type. He asked me, and I honestly think he was maybe reading in too much, but that little cartoon animation they showed, Sobble like basically like cloaks himself like Predator, becomes invisible. Any chance he's like a ghost type?
I don't know. That
was the first thing my son said. He goes, oh, he's a ghost type. He can disappear. I was like, I didn't even think that. That is such next level Pokemon thinking than what I am capable of having.
It can also be a psychic ability to refract light around you. But that's kind of interesting. Or it could be, this could even become a type that they haven't mentioned yet. Maybe there's a new type in this game.
I just assumed it was a water thing. Like he just, like I was like, yeah, it makes sense. He's a water type. He can look like water.
And maybe he can only cloak in water or in a rainstorm or something,
Oh man. So we have a new Pokemon game. Like we finally know what it is. Well, I'm sure we'll get some huge rollout. I'm not sure if it'll be at E3. They have a lot to detail at E3, and like a lot of people are asking like why this Pokemon news wasn't in the Direct last week. The Pokemon Company likes the stage. They don't like sharing the stage. They don't share the stage with games that might smash characters and things like that. They want everything to be on Pokemon, even outside of this holiday. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a trailer at E3, like something, and then they do like a Direct like the week after or the week before. They're going to have their own little thing. They're going to do their own little Pokemon thing, which is good. I like that. I like that they do their own little thing. I think Pokemon is its own thing. It's like Nintendo and Pokemon, so.
And I like that they did say, hey, we're working on other Pokemon projects than just this. They didn't have to say anything. They just had to say, hey, we're doing other stuff too, so look forward to that.
Other things that are coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exciting. That's why I was thinking the Pokemon Shuffles, the Pokemon Rumbles. I would love it. I would seriously love
Mystery Dungeons.
I don't want those.
I love Rumble.
Yes,
I
would like a new Pokemon Rumble.
And I collected so much of that.
Yeah, I would like a new Rumble, but I'm not into the Mystery Dungeon thing. But give me a match 3 game, or I would love a Pokemon Puzzle League on Switch.
Oh, you're talking my language.
Yeah, if they did anything like that at all, that would be really, really good. So anything like that I'm good for. If they want to do more DLC for Pokken, we're down for that too. Like, we still like Pokken. I know nobody else does, but we still do. So yeah, anyway, before we move on, you got anything else? Anything else on Pokemon Day 2018? 2019?
That does it. That does it.
Covered everything. Not quite 2 hours like we did for the Switch trailer, but pretty close. Good 20 minutes there. I want to talk about some May releases because we had a lot of news come out this past week. So Saints Row the Third drops on Switch May 10th. Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1, and Resident Evil 4 drop May 21st. So all 4 of these games come out in the same month that Assassin's Creed 3 comes out, and like 4 days after Box Boy comes out, which is interesting. Should be a pretty packed month. I think it's a little light until we get there. But until we get there, like it'll start ramping up through the summer. Any of those interest you? You gonna grab any of these?
The only one that really resonates with me there is Resident Evil 4. I enjoyed it so much, and if they have, I don't know why.
It's the HD version.
It was that GameCube demo that I played that just hooked me.
Yes. What if I told you I saw this today on a Reset Era? I'm not sure if it's been confirmed or not. I know it hasn't. It's not here on the US side. I saw that these, I think, are coming up in UK. It's $30 a piece, the Resident Evil games. That's a lot. Considering that the Wii game on Wii U was $20, I want to say the HD versions, I asked on our Discord, I don't think anybody responded to me. I think the other ones are $22. I think that. But I'm not going to get I have the Resident Evil games on Xbox and PlayStation. They're on Plus, and they give them away on Live, and so I'm not going to buy these. Saints Row the Third, though, is an interesting one because it's an open world like GTA game. Now, here's what makes it hard. Xbox just released this on Game Pass like a week ago. This is like Xbox's thing. Every time the Switch gets a third-party game, they put it in the Game Pass.
Yeah.
But if it reviews well, like if people tell me like, hey, it runs really good, like everything is as it should be, I might get it anyway because I'm interested in picking up a sandboxy, fool around, blow up some cars, be stupid for 20 minutes type of game on my Switch. That's the type of game that I will always play. Like if I'm at a doctor's office or, like 5 years from now, just like Fates, right? Just like me with Fates. Like if I'm sitting here and I'm babysitting sick kids, anything like that at all, like I will just mess around with. That's a mess around with game. I will boot that thing up and just mess around with it. Just, make stuff happen. So look forward to that in May. Tomorrow, which is out now. This is out now by the time you're listening to this. Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes DLC Volume 1 is out. If you bought the physical edition of the game, it's included in your season pass. If you bought the digital version, you have to pay extra for this. But you get Shinobu, the assassin, as a playable character. Batman gets his own narrative adventure. But most importantly, if you didn't see our Twitter, Link's Awakening gets a brand new shirt. And you got to collect that shirt because it's awesome. It's yellow. It's got Link all over. It's beautiful. Like the screenshot that they posted for this thing is amazing. Did you play this game at all? Do you have any interest in Travis Strikes Again?
I haven't touched it.
You're not alone. Most people aren't.
Play a demo.
I'm honestly a big fan. Most people aren't. So I get that. I'm really surprised that they're letting Suda have like this much fun with Zelda. This is like a new Nintendo. I think we all know that, like with Switch, with the new leadership and everything, but like, and I know that Suda is making a game for them, multiple games for them, like I get it, but still, for them to just like let somebody just like, because they're not tweeting about it. I'm sure they're retweeting and things like that, but like, it's very much from him. He's like, look, Zelda shirts, and he's got 5 of them now. Like, he seems like he has a license to do whatever he wants. It's insane. So it's pretty cool. That's out now, so I will be playing that. So by this time next week, I will tell you all about it. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to beat the game again as Shinobu. I might as Batgirl, but I believe Shinobu is just going to be a different character. It's probably going to feel a lot of the same. Like Batman and Travis felt the same. Like Batman's got a bat. Travis has got a lightsaber. So that's not all that different. And then I wanted to have a reminder in here because we love Jason Lacey and we miss you. That ToeJam and Earl Back in the Groove drops Friday for $20. And they made a little news today. They made Macaulay Culkin a producer of the game, like brought to you by Macaulay Culkin. So that's weird and interesting. We had some discussions today on the Discord, psvg.blog/Discord, if you want to join us. But that's crazy. I think this is brilliant marketing. He's been such a like a long standout of the game series, as I'm told. I don't know these things because I don't follow Travis Strikes Again, ToeJam Earl. Caroline, quit typing in the document.
Actually, I think that was me.
Oh, somebody quit typing in the document. But yeah, so he's liked the game for so long that that they brought him in, and so our folks were asking like, hey, why would they do this like the day before the game comes out? I was like, hey, to pop headlines, to pop ratings. That's why, because Macaulay Culkin gets you on Polygon. Like that's why, because when you do that, he gets you there. Somebody's going to tweet about it, and I think they did. So that's pretty cool. What do you think? Are you gonna get ToeJam and Earl?
I don't have any nostalgia for ToeJam and Earl, honestly. Well, that's not true. I played a little demo in a Sears once when I was a little kid. That's about it. So not enough to go off of to really want this game. I heard that the whole like something about Macaulay Culkin like being put to the game in some way to help push it a little bit more.
Sure.
I thought that was kind of fun. There is a game that hasn't been mentioned yet. It comes out tomorrow.
Ooh.
I speak on behalf of myself and Caro because we're both probably excited about this. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty big. Deltarune Chapter 1 is going to be available on Switch to play for free. So I'm so looking forward to that. I did not play it on PC or anything like that, so I'm ready to dig in and experience it for the first time.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I dropped that news bit to Caro today, but she had mentioned she had already played it. She played it on PC, and she would be waiting for the full game. But that's a good pull, definitely. It's a free game. Gotta love free games, man. You get in there and get to play it. How long is it? Like an hour? I think Caroline says like an hour or something like that. It's not that
no
long.
idea.
So, yeah.
But
stuff.
I am looking forward to it because I enjoyed Undertale so much. I've even got, I can find it. I've got this little Undertale Timmy pin I picked up.
Isn't that cute?
Fan Gamer.
Nice. You'll make Caro so happy. She's gonna like make sure that you come back one episode when she's on, because it was so hilarious that the Caro Undertale stuff. She was so hype and yelled at all of us about, like, basically it was a me and Jason thing. She's like, I can't believe you guys aren't excited, aren't hype. And then it was hilarious because over the following like 6 months, every time she ever like brought it up to anybody, they were the exact same way. Like she couldn't find anybody that was just like her. So like it started to turn. She never found you, Ryan, so it started to turn on her. Everybody was like, Caroline, it's just you. Nobody else is excited. You're it. You're the one person. So
you get me and Jacob and Caro on the podcast, and it'll just be all Undertale all the time.
So look forward to that. When Undertale or when Deltarune comes out in full, we'll have you guys review it, and I'll take the week off. That sounds like a sweet deal. All right. Let's wrap up here like we do every week with our Shack questions that are direct from you. And the first one comes from Grouchy. Yes, one actually a few weeks ago, but with directs and everything, it gets pushed down the list, but it's a really good time to answer this one. I feel there's no better time in history to be a gamer. How can Nintendo continue to build upon its Switch success, but also combat the fact that within a couple years, the competition will be even further ahead hardware-wise, which will continue to lead to port issues for games too advanced to run on the Switch? Grouchy. What do you think, Ryan?
The indie and port machine is still going strong with Switch, and I still don't think that that's going to die out for a while. So I think that's going to be the go-to, and being able to play on the go. There's a lot of people that live that lifestyle and don't get to game as much on TV. I happen to be one of those people. Like most of the time I'm playing handheld, so I think that that's a major selling point still, even if it is graphically underpowered. And because it's been out for so long, people are going to start seeing the Switch as, that's an older system about the time when those new systems come about. So that is going to hit the Switch hard a little bit. We'll probably see a lot of Switches traded in to go towards the new biggest thing. But I still think that it has enough behind it to keep it going, and especially if they like even toy with the idea of a VR, like a better Switch with VR.
Labo VR?
Like, that would do it. It'd be a cheaper option with the cardboard, but we'll see. We shall see.
Grouchy. So I have the answer to your question, but I will say, we're going to get a more powerful Switch when that time comes too. So it's not going to be nearly as good as the others, for sure. It's not going to have... Somebody sent me the Xbox specs the other day, or Kevin did in our Discord. It's like 18 teraflops or something I can't even imagine. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, it's twice as powerful as the current X, but like, what does that do visually? Is that like twice as, like, I have no idea. Like, is that a thing? But it won't be like that, but it will be, boosted. And Nintendo's games continue to sell Nintendo hardware. And it'll be up to the other third parties to determine if the Switch market is something that they want to try and sell games on. So sure, the latest Red Dead may not run on it, but every company has games that do, games that will, smaller games that can. And as long as Nintendo gets enough of them, if they get, let's say they get 5, 10 pretty good, C+ or better third-party games a year, mixed in with Nintendo first party, plus their second party stuff with exclusives and Platinum and Monolith, they'll be just fine. as a library market. But you want to know the answer to this question? It's what I've been giddy about all week. I was giddy about last episode. I was giddy about on Empire. The answer to this question is Game Pass and streaming. That's the answer. This is not going to be an issue at all because by the time we get 28,000 teraflops of power, it won't matter because you'll be able to play all the games on your Switch via the cloud. And it's going to be good. And folks with fiber internet, like my buddy Ryan here, he's going to be playing all kinds of non-powerful 8-bit games on his Switch through the cloud, streaming. But definitely, I will be playing Gears and Halo, and most importantly, Ori and the Blind Forest. When Ori and the Blind Forest comes to Switch, you've got to play it. Ori's amazing. Ori's incredible. Super, super great game. That's the answer to that question.
I want Cuphead and Castle Crashers, so...
Castle Crashers, yes. Oh man, if when this happens and we get to play Castle Crashers, have you played through it? Have you played the game?
Oh yes, many times.
Okay. As I say, because if you haven't, we're doing that together. But even if you have, we should probably still at least make for a drunk night where we all play Castle Crashers. That would be great. Next question: will Bowser do what the Reginator couldn't, and give me my Mother 3? That comes from Kevin. What do you think, Ryan?
I've played very little of Earthbound, so I don't really have much of an opinion on this. I hope that happens for fans because people have been begging for it forever. At this point, I hope that it's it's worth the wait. They do something other than just a straight port at this point. But hey, I'm not going to complain.
I'm sure he knows this, and I will say that most people probably realize this too. But there were rumors circulating last week that there was a remake or a release of Mother 3 in the plans, and it was scrapped due to controversial content and some licensing stuff, which I think has been the reason the whole time why we haven't had it. Eventually, they'll put the ROM out there. Eventually. But I think it'll be at a time when they need to. Just like they did with Earthbound Beginnings. It won't be at a time when they don't need it. Why burn that card when you're selling the best-selling console of the month? You've got all these games coming out, and you're riding this wave. Why burn that card now? No. Wait for the next Wii U, then burn that card.
I can see them doing, if they do a classic line with that, the platform that was on, like they do like a Star Fox 2, where they release Mother 3 on that. I could see them doing that.
That makes sense. Okay. What franchise that you wouldn't normally associate with Switch would you like to see on the system? And that comes from Delvin Cox over at the Delvin Cox Experience. Ryan?
I don't know. I was kind of going back and forth on this one. Like, I want to see more franchise, like shooter franchise. Like, I mean, you could say anything Xbox. Like, I'd love to see that on Switch, of course. Like Halo, I'd enjoy playing that. Like, if I could play Reach with friends, like just the horde mode or what have you, like I would have a lot of fun with that because that's what I enjoyed, But as far as like something just like off the wall, like random, I'd like to see the Switch have. It's not really associated with Switch. I mean, it existed on GameCube, it existed on Wii, but no one ever cared about it. That was Dance Dance Revolution.
Dance Dance Revolution.
I love Dance Dance Revolution, so I'd love
DDR Labo, baby. Put those like metallic things in there and you dance on the cardboard. It's like going back in the day. 90s hip hop, man. Oh, man. Throw it on the cardboard box. Let's get it done. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. My answer is Persona. So, I mean, I don't think that's crazy. I love Persona game on Switch. Persona games should be portable. I don't care how mad that upsets PlayStation fans. They should be portable. So, yeah, that's what I'll say. All right, last question. Would you rather have a 30-plus minute direct every 2 to 3 months or smaller 5 to 7 minute directs every other week? And that comes in from Mathman Craig.
So I definitely want the 30-plus minutes every 2 to 3 months. That's definitely what I'd prefer. There's a lot of things that they can deliver over a 3-month time. And I think that trickling information to us is the same as them just like showing us a commercial here and there, and it's not as impactful. It doesn't build the hype, but they have a lot of stuff to show, and I think that's a great model for what they've been doing anyway.
I would agree with you. I think if they went every 5 to 7 weeks or every other week or every 4 weeks, it's too often. It loses its specialness. The fun part about the direct is out of the blue nowhere, they go direct tomorrow 5:00 and that's it. And then the internet starts racing crazy with predictions and like that's the fun part. The fun part is we all experience this together. If they keep doing it every other week, they're smaller, there's not nearly as many things to talk about. They start to become scheduled, it starts to become routine. It's like Inside Xbox, it's like the other things, it's like PlayStation blog. Like nobody blogs anymore. Like that just becomes videos on YouTube at that point. That's not the fun part. The fun part is when they save it all up, and then we see Iwata holding some bananas, and they hit you with 19 indie games in like 4.5 seconds. You're like, what the hell just happened? That's the fun part. The fun part is the way that they Nintendoize it, and I definitely want them to keep it that way. So I would definitely say that. And it looks like we have one more in here. Kara asks, why would you sell your Hylian Shield 2DS, Donnie? What the... Also, hi, sorry I can't be there. I, of course, miss Pokemon Day. We miss you, Karo. Miss everybody. Everybody's leaving me over here, Ryan. Shack, man, it's getting lonely. Lonely Shack days. Anyway, that'll do it for Nintendo Shack this week. I would like to thank once again our guest Ryan from Nintendo Nostalgia for coming over to the Shack. Please tell all of our listeners where they can find you and more of your amazing Nintendo thoughts.
Sure thing, man. You can find me on Twitter at Metroid Hunter, and you can find my show Nintendo Nostalgia over at the Nintendo Village, Nintendo Nostalgia over there. And
of course, Gary. Oh, come on, man. Oh, gross.
But if you don't want to mess with that, I guess you can go to the Apple Podcast and Google Play and listen to us. Join in our Facebook. Of course, Nintendo_NOS is our Twitter handle. So come check us out. We're great guys. We've got a great nostalgia chat going on, and we have some contests running right now on pick between these two SNES games and which one gets eliminated. Move on to the final tournament to see which NES game comes out on top. We just did. SNES games. We just did NES games, and Zelda won out over Mario Brothers 3. But now we have the Super Nintendo going. So we got a fan that's on there posting that contest. And it's quite a lot of fun.
I will say I do love your guys' like a book club nature. You guys all kind of rally around a game and you play it together and you talk about it and you experience it together. It's a lot of fun. So, we kind of ride those waves every now and again. We get into like Mario Golf as a team, like all together, and it really makes for a better experience that way. And I really like that. And it's a cool group of people. I love all you guys except for Gary. So, not him, but everybody else is good. That's I love you, man. I hope he hears that. I hope he hears that so he can like, what the hell?
Hey, anyway. Man, us colors got to stick together. I'm Ryan Black. He's Gary Gray. No,
he's you guys are all great. He knows that. So anyway, with that said, that's it for us this week on Nintendo Shack. My name's Donnie Reese. You find me at Play Nintendo. Again, Patron giveaway, Patron lottery is tomorrow, so by the time you're hearing this, it's already happened. But it's not too late for you to get on next month's, and we'll be announcing those prizes soon. So head over there at patreon.com/PSVG. Good night, Kooplings.
Later.